Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. My name is Tony Butler. I'm one of the life sales directors here, and I have one of our top advisors with us today, John Enting, and we're going to be talking about one of our newest carriers, Unity. Uh, Prior to us having that conversation and going over that, would like to discuss a few things that we do here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. So for those of you that have been on our webinars before, you're familiar with this, and those of you that this is the first time, would like to make sure that you are aware of some of the things that we can do to help you grow your business. So let's get started. First, would like to point out that we do have a new producers builders program for our newly appointed advisors. With that, based on the production that you provide, we do offer perks, if you will. We've got 5 different levels here in terms of premium that has been generated. We have the 100,000, 250,000, 500, 750, and 1 million. So as you see here, there are various things that you can obtain, such as mailing pieces, iPad. We have a Ritz-Carlton package. We also do offer marketing dollars that you can put back into your business to help grow your business. So if you have any questions regarding our new producers builders, please do not hesitate to give us a call. Any one of our sales directors would be more than happy to provide you with additional details on that. We also have our IAMS Business Builder, and that is our referral program, if you will, for our advisors. So if you refer another advisor to Insurance Agency Marketing Services and they get appointed with one of the carriers that we work with, we do provide you with a one-time referral bonus. We also provide you with additional specs on any subsequent business that they submit. As you see here, depending on the type of business, whether it's life, index annuities, single premium life, or MIGAs on the annuity end, we do provide you with additional monies on that as well. And again, that is something that you can earn and help reinvest back into your business. And again, it's something that we provide our advisors to say, hey, thanks for helping us with working with additional agents. We do offer back office support for you. We always say that we want you to work smarter, not harder. So what that entails is we do paperless contracting. We're going to be working with you guys all the way from submissions to commissions. So we have other business building resource tools available for you. Forms are available at your fingertips. We do offer assistance as far as life and annuity quotes as well. And then getting into the forms, we have a 24/7 website, www.imzinc.com. Excellent sales tools available on our website. We do have a term and universal life quote comparison platform there. So for those of you agents that are writing life business, you're actually able to do that from our website. You can obtain forms and applications on our website. You can also do e-applications on the website through IGO e-application solutions. The majority of the life carriers that we work with that do e-apps, that is available through our IAMS website. We also have a second platform for electronic applications, that's Firelight. As you see here on the left, the carriers that we do have available through Firelight, the majority of those are annuity carriers, but we do have some life insurance carriers as well. We're working to add additional carriers on the Firelight platform. If you haven't gotten registered on Firelight or on our website, please give us a call. One of our sales directors can walk you through that process. We also offer creative marketing solutions. What that means is whether it's turnkey agency or digital solutions, we do provide you with assistance on that. So if it's handouts or flyers that you're looking to do, newsletters, if you're looking to redesign a logo or design a logo, you need help with business cards or brochures, or if you're looking to get into the digital marketing space, we can help you with the personal website, digital marketing strategies. One of the things that I strongly encourage you to do if you are interested in our creative marketing solutions is to reach out to your sales director. And what we can do is what's called a marketing analysis, where we can take a deep dive into your business and get some information from you and regards to what you're currently doing, what you would be looking to do in the near future, and partner with you to help grow your business. So if that is something that does interest you, I strongly suggest that you give us a call and we can set up an appointment to have a marketing analysis done. We also offer the Retirement Analyzer, and this has been a tremendous help for our advisors in answering questions from their clients, such as, can I continue my present standard of living into my retirement years? How would it affect my family if I were to die prematurely? How could my situation change during this turbulent economic times? I would strongly encourage you to ask about this. If you're not utilizing it, give us a call. We can walk you through what this can do for you. It is free for qualifying agents. For those agents that are just getting started, we do offer a free trial basis for it. The free qualifying agents is based on the business that is submitted. There is a charge otherwise, but we can provide you with information on that as well. We also have an IAMS wealth management team. So for those clients that you have that are higher net worth clients, reach out to Charles Jr. and his team, and they can help you with that. I can say that, as it states here, it can help you increase revenue, improve client retention, and strengthen relationships with your clients. They've been doing an outstanding job of helping advisors find that additional business, especially with those those clients that are higher net worth clients. And lastly, and finally, we do have a trip on the books. It is scheduled for 2022. As you see here, there's the dates listed for the cruise that we're doing. It's our Top Producer Summit. Qualification periods are from December 1st of 2020 all the way through June 30th of 2022. 4.5 million points are needed to qualify. If you have any questions or need additional details in regards to our Top Producer Summit, feel free to give us a call. I'd be more than happy to answer any of those questions for you. John, are you still there?
I'm here, Tony.
All right, with that, I am going to turn it over to you. Let me get this PowerPoint pulled up. Can you see that?
I can, and you can start the slideshow.
All right, give me just a second here. All right, let me go ahead and give you control.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, try it.
All right. Looks great. Well, first of all, good afternoon to everybody on the call today, and thank you for taking time out of your business to join us. I know a lot of times it gets busy, but I think you'll learn some information today that can really help you out in your practice. First thing I want to let you know is I am in the field. I'm not a home office employee. I have a financial practice firm here in Columbus, Ohio. And so I'm giving you this information from experience, not from just sitting in an office in a home office. What we'll do today is we'll move through some things rapidly, but there will be some others I want to slow down and really let you digest. But we'll talk a little bit about Unity Financial and what they bring to the table. We'll talk about the opportunity that exists with the product in the marketplace today. Talk about the trust that Unity uses to hold the asset, talk about the product that we use to fund the trust, and then I'll give you some presentation ideas and tools that you can take with you today, hopefully to help you be able to engage this product with your clients. Why Unity Financial? We've done a lot of research before we put this deal together with Unity Financial. We have the utmost confidence in their financial strength and ratings. They are family owned and operated, and they strictly are in that irrevocable funeral trust and estate planning trust business. So they're in the business of protecting assets for your clients. All the products are guaranteed issue, no health questions at all. A very easy application. We'll talk a little bit about how 1035 exchanges are accepted into the program, and of course, how you're going to get paid for utilizing this with your clients. So when we look at the financial stability, we're with a company that's really growing. We know that they've got a very stable outlook from AM Best. They're always meeting with them and trying to improve that rating. And the future looks really good for Unity. When we talk about their financial strength, there's a little bit of their numbers for you to look at. But they've increased their assets by 461% since 2007. So we're all in the planning business. I think we'd agree with that. No matter what you label yourself, your job is to show people things that might happen and then also talk to them about the inevitable. So things that might happen, that's why you have homeowners insurance, auto insurance. Maybe you're putting money aside for weddings. But there is also the inevitable, and that's what's going to happen. And we know that everybody is going to pass away at some point. So in our planning process, it's probably the hardest thing to talk to a client about, but it's very, very important. And I'm going to share with you my personal story of why I really feel it's important. And it'll give you an idea of how we really put this into our business and went full force with it. So, when you're talking to your clients, you need to explain to them that somebody is going to have to pay for the final expenses when they get here. But a lot of people don't know what those costs are. So we always point this out to the client that, hey, the average funeral is going to be around $15,000. So however you're paying for that, if something would have happened to you yesterday, how would your funeral be paid for today? And that's really where we come in, because someone has to do the planning for this. And it's going to be one of two ways. It's either going to be the deceased prior to them passing away, getting all their affairs in order, or it could be the situation I found myself in. And I'll share with you a little background on me. I'm the youngest of 5 children. My mom and dad divorced when I was 2 years old, so I wasn't really close with my father, but I've always been the entrepreneur in the family. And so anytime something goes on, my phone usually rings to either get my opinion or try to help them figure out what to do. And that was no different on January 21st of 2011 when my sister called me to tell me that my dad had passed away. And what ended up happening is the next day I found myself sitting in a funeral director's office, and the funeral director was asking me questions like, what was my dad's mother's maiden name? What was his highest rank in the military? His favorite flower, his favorite hymn? Who were the pallbearers? And unfortunately, I never had those discussions with my father, so I had no idea. It became a guessing game at that point. But what it did make me realize pretty quickly was all of these plans that we had been doing for our clients over the years, they had value because those families weren't going through what I was going through with my own father. So there's two ways to do it. A client can go to a funeral home. They call that the pre-need side, where they go in, they pick out their casket, they prepay their stuff, or they can do the final expense side, which is where we would come in as advisors and where Unity Life would really bring a lot to the table for us. The average cremation price, because I do want to point that out, you may hear from a client say, well, I don't need to put 15,000 in, I'm going to get cremated. The average cremation price right now is about $7,790. So you may want to know that number so that you don't put more than is necessary into the irrevocable funeral trust for the client. So this is pretty interesting. They did a national survey, and 72% of the people thought it was a good idea to pre-plan their funeral, but 64% had not taken the steps to do so. And our opinion on that is that on a beautiful sunny day, a husband and wife don't wake up in the morning and look at each other and say, hey, let's go down and pick our caskets out. The reality is the human mind can only think about its own demise for about 11 seconds, and then it moves on to something else. But that's really where the opportunity comes in for us as advisors. And the one thing I know about everybody on the call here today, your clients aren't any different than mine and the one that we're using this plan with. You're probably in the pre or post-retirement market, or a combination of both. And this is really where we can utilize this product to help our clients not be in the position that I was put in back when my father passed away. So the market is really big. From 2010 until 2025, it was estimated that 80 million people were expected to file for Social Security benefits. To me, that looks like a prospect pool. That tells me that what we're doing and the marketplace we're in is continuing to grow. And anytime you're running a business, you're looking to be in the business that is going to have the most people to speak with or that need to utilize your product. And that's exactly where we are at today. So how do you start the conversation with the clients? Usually we'll start it talking about long-term care insurance, because the reality is that 69% of all Americans older than 65 are going to need nursing care, but 93% of all Americans have not purchased anything to protect them from losing their money to a nursing home situation. So we will ask our clients, do you have long-term care insurance? Knowing that 9.3 out of the 10 people we ask are going to tell us no. And so then we will say, are you aware that when you get sick and you need care, that the government is going to make you spend down your money on your care until you basically become impoverished, and then you will qualify for Medicaid, which means they are going to pay for your long-term care cost. Now, the reason we say that to them is that kind of puts a rock in their shoe, and they want to know more. Well, what can I do to maybe protect some of that money from going to the nursing home? And that's where we're going to fit in. And that's really where everything fits in for Unity and the Irrevocable Funeral Trust. So we're going to give them financial protection of life insurance, but we're going to get the advantages of an irrevocable funeral trust. We're going to get the protection on the money as well. We're going to show them how to plan ahead, put that money aside for the future, and then by using a trust to hold those funds, we're effectively spending down that money. Now, what does that mean? That means when your client puts that money in the irrevocable funeral trust, it is now protected from a Medicaid spend down situation, and the money will be there for when they need it the most, and that's for when somebody passes away. So the trust itself is offered by Unity, and Unity doesn't charge for the funeral trust. So the reason I say that is I have a relationship with an elder law attorney down the street from my office, and he does a lot of planning using irrevocable trusts for his clients. And if you want to go in and talk to him, it's $7,500 to get the party started, and then it can get up to 15 or 20,000 worth of fees in order to get that protection. Now, I'm not saying that's bad, because there's many people that really need to take that deep dive, but you have a lot of clients who don't, that really just need to know how they can put that money aside and know that it'll be protected from Medicaid spend down, and know that the money will be there when they need it the most. So what happens with the funeral trust is it pays the funeral home first, and then any remaining money has to go back to the estate of the insured or the estate of the deceased. I'll share with you on a couple slides from now why we have to do that. But it is protected from nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and creditors, and any funds that pay out of the trust are going to be paid out income tax free. So here's a slide, just I want you to kind of peruse it for a minute. I'm not going to read everything, obviously, but you can see that every column that we're looking to get a yes in, we are getting that with the irrevocable funeral trust. Because think about it, they got to pay for their funeral from somewhere, whether it's savings bonds, CDs, an annuity, but none of those hit every box the way an irrevocable funeral trust does. So again, we're going to give them that safety and security that 100% of that money is protected. It's also portable. And what I mean by that is if you go prepay in a local funeral home, and then your kids and grandkids move to Florida and you want to follow them down there, well, you may have to come back to your city to be buried because that's where you prepaid your funeral. With this, because you're putting it with the insurance company, I don't care where you live, it's accepted at any funeral home that you want to go to. You could change your mind 8 times during your lifetime of what funeral home you want to go to. It will not matter because that all happens at the time of death. So again, you're not obligated to choose any funeral services or merchandise ahead of the time of need. This is about telling or showing the client to put the money away, have that money there for when your family is going to need it the most with knowing that it's not going to be lost to a nursing home spend down situation. So how does the trust work? It's pretty simple when you look at it. What we're doing is we're using a life insurance policy. Now I'm going to say something to you about that. If you understand life insurance and single pay life insurance, you know that if you were to give $15,000 into a traditional single pay life insurance policy, depending on your age, you could probably get $25,000 of death benefit and have access to that 15,000 of cash value. Well, that's what allows them to come back and make you spend that on your care because you have access to that cash. So what we do is we show the clients where to get the money. I'm going to use $15,000 as an example. We would say to our client, let's put this money in the Irrevocable Funeral Trust. So we're going to put it in there. We're going to buy a life insurance policy. Your death benefit is going to start out at about $15,250 as an example. And then what's going to happen is 30 days after it's issued, it's going to be assigned into the Irrevocable Funeral Trust. And now it's going to earn interest. The interest isn't exciting. It's 0.5%. It's credited annually, simple interest. But don't get caught up on that because this isn't about how much we can grow the money. This is about protecting those funds from a nursing home spend down situation so that they are there to take care of those final expenses. Now, when a client passes away, what typically happens is that client's family is going to call us here at Inting Financial. They're going to tell us somebody passed away. We're going to pull their contract number. We're going to ask them what funeral home they're using. We're going to call that funeral home. We're going to get the contact person's name and fax number, and then we're going to let Unity know. At that point, we're out of it. Unity is going to deal directly with the funeral home, and that funeral home is going to receive that money within 48 hours without a death certificate. Any money that's not used towards the funeral will have to be paid back to the estate because remember, we gave up ownership or control of that money in order to protect it from a nursing home. So if you owe anything to the nursing home, if you were in it and passed away and then you owed them some money, then they do have the right to come back for those excess funds to get reimbursed for the care that they gave you. So we'll talk about the comparison of the trusts themselves with Unity. You can put up to $15,000 into the Irrevocable Funeral Trust. I see we have a lot of people on here today, and they're probably from all over the country. So I will put up a list here in a little bit of what your state limits are, and we'll chat about that. But they're generally going to be considered an exempt asset by Medicaid, so they're not subject to that 5-year look-back period. And then the funeral, again, is going to be paid first, any excess money going back to the estate of the insured. Unity also has an estate planning trust. You can put up to $85,000 into that trust. It's generally going to exclude those assets, but it will have a 5-year look-back period attached to it. So then again, the policy will be assigned to the trust. You can use it to pay any funeral cost, but then any money that's left in there, you can name a beneficiary for that money to go back to, which makes it nice. So I do a lot of speaking at the IAMS agent academies that they hold for agents. And anytime I do my presentation, this is inevitably the question I get. Which trust do I use, John? Well, the funeral expense trust is awesome for crisis planning. If that attorney down the street called me and said, hey, I'm trying to get somebody on on June 1st qualified to go on Medicaid, and I need you to come down here and put $15,000 on the husband and $15,000 on the wife, I can get $30,000 off the table immediately for them so that they don't have to spend that money down at the nursing home. Maybe you have a client where, they're paying for their spouse that's in the nursing home, but they're saying, hey, within 5 years, I'm going to probably run out of money. Well, great. Let's get this money set aside so that you both have it there for your final expenses. And then I do a lot of in-office seminar appointments, and every client we meet with, we ask them a simple question. Have you prepaid your funeral? If they tell us no, we're going to explain to them the benefits of doing it with the funeral expense trust. And then those clients are just wanting to get it done, put it behind them, and never have to deal with it again. And we can certainly help them with that. Now, if they were to say to me, well, you know what, John, we have prepaid our funeral. We did it at the funeral home. My next question to them is going to be, do you have any money that you want to make sure goes to a charity, children, grandchildren, that you have a chance of protecting from being lost to a nursing home? And then that's when we're going to use the estate planning trust, because Medicaid's a non-issue, maybe not 5 years from now, maybe never, maybe they have money, but they want to easily transfer a limited amount of wealth to their children and their charities. That's the real opportunity. And again, we can put up to 85,000 in there. So let's talk a little bit about the product itself that we use. Here at Intang Financial Services, we only do single pay. I've never done a multi-pay with any carrier I've used for this product, and I don't plan on starting to do it. We figure out a way to get that money and get it put in there for the client. So again, the maximum issue is $15,000. The minimum is $500 on the Irrevocable Funeral Trust. On the estate planning trust, it's $2,000 minimum or $85,000. Again, for the sake of time today, I'm just going to talk to you about doing it single premium. Minimum issue age 10 to 99, and then on the estate planning trust, it's age 50 to age 90. So again, this is all information you'll get when you're contracted with Unity, but it's pretty simple. Again, we're going to do that single premium guaranteed issue product. We're going to put it in there. After 12 months, its full face amount and discretionary growth factor is added into that. So here's the interest rates right now. So on the estate trust, it's 50.50%, so 0.5%. On the funeral trust, it's 0.25% from 10 to 80. Again, when you're doing this, you're not trying to sell an interest rate. You're selling the protection of money. And here's what I would say to a client if they said, well, gosh, that thing only pays 0.25%. I would tell them, well, hey, I can go out and get you 3% guaranteed on the money, or 2.5, whatever a fixed annuity's paying. But if you get sick and go to a nursing home, they're going to ask you to spend all that money. So are we growing the money for the nursing home, or are we trying to protect it from them? That's really what this product is utilized for. And I will tell you, it doesn't get any easier than this. Literally with Unity, it's one piece of paper and you're done. You'll also need your state replacement form if it's required. But to put that in perspective, I wrote my first annuity back in 1993 on a gentleman who owned a dry cleaning service in Marion, Ohio. It was a $25,000 annuity. I'd never sold one before. The application was 3 pages, and the last page was the receipt that I was leaving with them. If you look at today's applications, or whether it's an annuity, a life insurance policy, long-term care contract, they can be upwards of 20, 30, sometimes 40 pages. With this one, if you don't like paperwork, you're going to love doing business with Unity. You know when you write the application that the application is going to get issued, you're going to get paid, and it doesn't take a lot of time to get the work done. Here's what the application looks like with Unity. You'll notice there's no health questions. So you are literally telling the client, you're going to be guaranteed to get this. All we have to do is complete the application and send the money into Unity. Here's the bottom of it. You're going to have them sign. You're going to sign off on it as the agent. I want to take you back to something I said earlier about 30 days after issue, they are going to move that money into the irrevocable funeral trust. There's two things you need to understand with that. Number one is if you have a critical situation or a crisis situation, like I talked about with the elder law attorney, where somebody's trying to get qualified June 1st, and I go in there and write an application today, well, that's certainly not 30 days, right? Between writing the app and getting it issued and into the trust. But on the bottom of here, you're going to notice that you can actually sign off and have that transferred immediately into the irrevocable funeral trust. They'll waive the 30 days, and that so I could go do that for the attorney today and assure him that that money's protected from the Medicaid spend down situation. The other thing I want to point out is I use that word irrevocable a lot. Every client that we've ever done business with these plans, and we've been doing them for 14 years, I tell every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, this is an irrevocable policy. This is to be there for your passing. We're protecting the money. Don't call me to borrow off of it. Don't call me to cash it in. You're not allowed to do any of those things. It is irrevocable and will not pay out until you pass away. And I've never had one person ever call me asking me to cash it in or to take a loan from it. So make sure you put that out there to your clients. What does it cover? Just about every single thing that you're going to need for a funeral, you can use the funds to pay for. So you can see how we can quickly get up to that $15,000 range as far as a funeral cost is concerned. Now here's your individual state limits. You can see here that I'm going to go down. In Ohio, we have $15,000 that we can put in. If you see your state on there, I want to point something out to you. Let's go to Nebraska here where IAMS is located. They're telling them you can only put $4,978 into an irrevocable funeral trust. Well, John, if we know a funeral's $15,000, don't we have a problem here? Well, actually, we don't, because if it were me, what I would say to the client, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we're going to get $4,978 protected immediately for you. We're going to take the other $10,022 and we're going to put it into the estate planning trust. Now, yes, you're going to have a 5-year look back period on that, but 5 years goes relatively quickly, and we need to make sure we have $15,000 for your funeral. And so I would combine those two to get them up to what they needed to have the proper protection. So what about presenting it to clients? How do I start? I had a great mentor in this business, and the thing he told me was the best place to start with anything is with an annual review with your client. And the reason that he said that was if you were to go into your client to do an annual review and you said to that client, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, wouldn't you agree that everything that we've worked on in the past has worked out the way that I had informed you it would? Well, these are your good clients. Of course, they're going to tell you yes. Then you're going to say, well, there's something that I've learned about that I'm making sure that we cover with every single client, and I want to make sure that I share that with you today. Now, kind of as a sidebar to that, at these agent academies, one time I had an agent come up to me and say, John, I don't know how to say this nicely to you, but boy, I sure wish I had the story about your dad. And I told him, use that story about my dad. Tell him you have a friend in the business and this is what happened to him, and there's a better way to do it. And I've learned about that, and I want to share that with you now at our annual review. And then it's a simple question. Have you prepaid your funeral? No, we haven't. Great. I'm going to talk to you about the Irrevocable Funeral Trust. Yes, we have. Do you have any money that you want to go to church, charity, grandchildren, children that you want to know you have a chance to have it protected from a Medicaid spend down in the event that you need to go to a nursing home? Then we're going to present that funeral trust funding. We're going to stress the benefits of planning ahead. We're going to tell them, hey, you can use this with any funeral home that's out there. And here's one thing that your clients don't know, or at least 99% of them. If your clients have these old paid up life insurance policies that has 10,000 in cash value and the death benefit is 12,000, they don't understand that when they die, they don't get both of those numbers, right? They get the death benefit, which is $12,000. Well, if 10,000 of it is your cash value and you're going to get 12,000 death benefit, you really only have 2,000 worth of true death benefit. The other is your money that they are paying out. So what we will say to a client in that situation is if you get sick and go into a nursing home, they will make you spend down that life insurance cash value and you run the risk of losing your life insurance. Doesn't it make more sense to 1035 exchange the cash value into the irrevocable funeral trust? Yes, we're going to give up a little bit of death benefit today, but we're protecting the money and know for sure that it's going to be there for your future. We use a rule on that. If we're within 25% of the cash value, as an example, if they had 15,000 in cash value and 20,000 in death benefit, we're comfortable giving up the 5,000 death benefit to protect the 15. If they have 15 in cash value and a $30,000 death benefit, that's a decision they have to make if they want to protect the money and give up the death benefit. We can't make that one for them. But there's a lot of those old paid up policies that people just, I'm sure if you're on the call, you've done it before. You see them and you skim right through them. Pick that phone up, call the company with them, find out the cash value and the death benefit because you're probably walking over opportunities, and then close the sale. When I sold that first annuity back in 1993 for $25,000, I couldn't believe somebody had let me walk out with a check for $25,000. Today, if someone slides a $250,000 check across the table for annuity, we don't think twice. It's not because we're great or think we are. It's that repetition over the years of just getting better and better and better at closing the sale and giving the clients that peace of mind of knowing that they've planned ahead and that those funds are protected. So where do we find the money? Here's what I say to a client. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, if we really think about it today, we're not even buying anything, are we? All we're doing is we're taking money from our left pocket that you will have to spend down in the event you go to a nursing home, and we're going to shift it to our right pocket and get it protected. So really, the money's already there. If you ask them, how would you pay for your funeral? And they say, well, my daughter knows I have a CD at the bank that's worth $15,000, and if I die, it's to be used for my final expenses. Well, why would we leave it to chance that you get sick and the nursing home gets the CD? Let's move it over into the irrevocable funeral trust and protect that money. And if it's truly what you want it there for, you'll know for sure that money will be there when you need it the most. I talked to you about other insurance, so those old paid up policies with cash values, annuities, 10% penalty free withdrawals. I think the number came out that 94% of all annuities that are bought by a consumer are inherited by somebody. So they're not even using the money. So maybe you take those penalty free withdrawals and you go ahead and get the money protected for them. Now, the marketing materials that are provided by Unity, they're really nice. We've reviewed them all. We've used them already in the sales that we've done with Unity. But the thing I like about them is they're written in layman's terms. And why is that important? I had a client that we had about $80,000 of cash value, and I went out and presented this program to them. And at the end of the conversation with them, she looked at me and said, John, now they're an annuity client as mine as well, so I'll disclose that. But she said to me, hey, John, you know we don't make any decisions on the first appointment. And I said, yeah, I understand that. And you know me well enough by now that I don't mind if you sleep on it and think it over, but I'm going to leave you this brochure. So sleep on it, talk about it, read the brochure. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'm going to call you back because you know the best time to make a decision is why everything's fresh on your mind. The next morning, true story, 9 o'clock in the morning in my office, they called me, said, hey, we thought about everything. We looked through the brochure. Let's get together and get this done. And we actually ended up doing that deal for them and picking up the $80,000 in cash value. I was taught by my mentor that anytime you sell something to somebody, you should try to leave them a task to keep them engaged. And this is something I wish I would have had when my dad passed away, because these are given to you through Unity. They're in a high gloss, they're very nice. And what you would do is you would write the Irrevocable Funeral Trust, and then your close would be to give this to the client and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I'm going to bring your contract back to you. And when I do, I would expect that you would have this filled out for me, because I'm going to put this with your contract. And if I had never met you before, I could take this and your Unity contract to the funeral home and have your funeral taken care of without ever meeting you before. Because this planning guide is going to ask all those questions I didn't know about my dad. Mother's maiden name, highest rank in the military, favorite flower, favorite hymn, who are the pallbearers. Now, my mom is in care right now, and I actually did one of these guides for my mom and with my mom, even though I know, her and I are very close, but I didn't want to miss anything. So again, you leave this with the client. That keeps them engaged in the process until you can get your contract back out to them. Once you're licensed with Unity through IAMS, you get to go on this exclusive agent website, which can give you everything from your commission reports, any materials and marketing materials you may need. It's a very nicely put together agent portal. And then at the bottom down here, you can see that they have a phone number. So even if you're in a point of sale and you have a question, you can call them and get an answer while you're in that point of sale. So why start today? I've given you the numbers. Your clients need it. They're thinking about it. It's a great income opportunity, which we're going to talk about here in a minute with the commissions. The trusts are 100% free. They can use it at any funeral home that they want to. Gives them that peace of mind. And again, if you hate paperwork, believe me, you're going to love this product. It's literally a 10-minute process of doing the application. And then we've got great commissions to back all of that up. And we should just ask, people are thinking about it. If you don't ask them, someone else will. And why would you put yourself in that position? So again, I'm going to keep referring to this mentor I had, because it's truly why I'm where I am today in my business. But he always told me, always have more than one income leg to your income stool. So if you sell annuities, that's great, but you should have a couple other different revenue sources that you can count on to create revenue for your business. And with this one, I just said, okay, what if you just work with two couples each month? You're out doing your reviews. You end up writing a couple deals, so $15,000 a premium on 20 couples, only working 10 months a year. That's going to add about $60,000 on average to your bottom line. That's $5,000 a month. For many of you, that's probably your office expenses. Maybe it's more than your office expenses, but it's a great way to have another income stool. Now, let's talk about commissions. Let's just use a 66 to 70-year-old. We know they're getting issued. We know what our commission rate is, 13.5%. So if you went out and did a review and you picked up 30 grand, 15,000 on each spouse, you've just got paid $4,000 to do a review for your client. That's not a bad day at the office. And you've already got that whole base of people that you can talk to. Even if you're not 100% comfortable with the product yet, you know that you're comfortable around those people. And if you make a little misstep, it's not going to be a big deal. So this is what your commission structure would look like. It's very, very, if you look at commissions in general across all product lines today, annuities, life insurance, it's a very, very good commission structure. They're also going to do a fast start incentive. So they'll do a $200 bonus for your first $25,000 of face amount in your first 30 days of appointment with Unity. Also, all of your production is going to count towards the IAMS getaway. I'm going to say something to you about that. When I was younger, my mentor always told me, when you make a sales conference, go find the top people that are on the top of the leaderboard and ask them what they do in their business, because they're always willing to share and you can always pick up something. That's how I built my business, was all these sales conferences, constantly buddying up with the top people, taking their ideas, bringing them back and implementing them into my business. So overcome the challenges. Remember, it's okay to ask people. Ask them, have you prepaid your funeral? Stress those benefits of planning ahead and ask them every client, every day, every time. It's not that hard of a question. Have you prepaid your funeral? So here's some questions that we get. When do I get paid if I submit a deal? The commissions are processed weekly. They're usually released to your bank on the first business day of each week for any business that issued the prior week. Again, we all know what cash with app is. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then you can always check on Unity Link to follow your business through that process. And IAMS follows that business for you as well. So you have two sets of eyes on everything. Agents have direct access to all company management all the way up to the president. You got a problem and you want to talk to the president of the company, you call Unity and you ask for him. Marketing services, again, everything you need to do business, and then that online access for all the information that you need to run your business. So we're going to kind of get close to wrapping up here, but this is probably one of the most important things that you're going to receive by licensing with Unity through insurance agency marketing services. This is a guide for beneficiaries. I'm going to tell you a little backstory on this guide. About 8 or 9 years ago, I had a very big client, had a $500,000 annuity with me. She died. Her daughter called me, said, John, I wanted to let you know mom died. I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Get through everything you need to get through. And then we will need to meet in a couple weeks, though, because I have this annuity that your mom has made you sole beneficiary of. And she said, oh, John, don't worry. I've already talked to the banker at the bank, and he said, just bring that in, and they're just going to take care of everything for me. Well, that made me sick to my stomach. I'd worked hard for that case, and now through my poor planning, I was losing it to the bank, and there was nothing I could do about it. But I said, you know what? There's got to be a better way. So I came up with this guide for beneficiaries, and what we did is we went out and gave it to every one of our clients. We collected all new data from our clients, financial data, because I'm telling you, your clients do not tell you everything. I don't care if they're your best client. They don't always tell you everything they have financially. And the reason that we know that is over a 6-month period through using the beneficiary guide, we wrote $1.5 million in annuity premium, 200,000 in traditional single premium life, and about 150,000 into the irrevocable funeral trust. And again, it's not because we're brightest and we're the greatest, but practice makes perfect. So when you see this beneficiary guide, IAMS will actually give this to you so that you can put your company information where you see mine at. But it's really self-explanatory. A guide for my beneficiary. For help settling my estate, please call my advisor at Inting Financial Services. We want that phone call. Let me tell you how nice that is to have them in a home. In October of last year, we got a phone call from a client in Pennsylvania. Her dad died. She inherited $1 million. She said, hey, I've got this guide for my beneficiaries that my dad told me to make sure I had. I'm calling you guys. What do we do next? We actually, or I shouldn't say we, but in collaboration with the gentleman who works for me, we wrote $1 million in one appointment with this client, taking care of their needs for them. That's not the important part. The important part is, if we didn't have this in the house, who knows if we would have even been in that conversation. So at the beginning of it, I just have a letter from me telling them how much we appreciate their business, that we have all the professionals in place to help them with any questions that they might have. There is also, that we don't show you in the webinar because it would take too long, there's a whole booklet with this that tells them who to call, how letters to Social Security, letters to the credit card companies, to the pension company. It gives them a step-by-step on what to do. And one of those steps is schedule a meeting with Inting Financial Services as soon as possible. So we're reiterating it not only in the front cover, but also within the document inside the book. This is the financial organizer that we use to update everything for them. And the reason we do this is we want to know everything about them, and this organizer will tell us that. And if we get to the second page, you can see here, question 8, have you prepaid for your funeral? If they tell us yes, we're going to ask them that next question. Do you have any money that you would like the potential to have protected from a nursing home in the event you got sick and that you wanted to go to your children's church, charity, grandchildren? If they tell us that they haven't prepaid their funeral, we're not launching into a sales pitch. We're going to mark that, and then we're going to circle back around with them. Although that circle back around phrase probably is getting overused these days. But anyway, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to come back in there and talk to them about that product. On the last page, you're going to see here, this is just the conclusion of asking them the financial information, and then we have a notes or financial organizer page on the last page. So that's going to be it for me, Tony, on that part. If you have any questions or anything, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, John, I'm gonna switch this back over to me.
Sure.
I think I got this now. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna check and see if we have any questions here.
And make sure you got that poll question too, Dunny.
Yep, I'm gonna
Okay.
get to that here
Okay.
real quick. So before we get started on the questions, I wanna, there's a couple of poll questions. There's actually 3 polling questions that I would like to present to everyone. The first polling question is, let me put this up here. And that's going to be, are you currently contracted with IAMS for any life and or annuity products? So I'm going to launch that polling question. And for all of you that are on this call, if you could please respond to that. It's very important that we get this information. So if everyone could please respond to that polling question. I'll leave this up for a few more seconds while everyone responds. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that one down. The next polling question that I have is, do you have any clients that you think this product would fit their needs? If you can respond to that polling question, we'll make sure to reach out to you in regards to that and answer any of those questions that you may have, get you the necessary materials to write the business. So I will leave this up for a little bit. And John, from the looks of things, looks like we got quite a few people that this has sparked some interest in existing clients. So that's always good.
Yes, perfect.
All right, I will leave this up for a few more seconds. All right, I will close that one. And then last polling question is, if you would like to get contracted with Unity, please respond to this polling question and we'll make sure to get the necessary materials out to you to get appointed. And I'm seeing quite a few yeses here, so that's good. I'll leave this up for about another 10, 15 seconds. Make sure everybody has an opportunity to respond. Okay, I'll close that. Now to the questions part. So first question, John, do you have electronic version of this?
So to do e-apps, I'm assuming that's what they're talking about. At this time, Unity does not.
And I think what they're asking is electronic version of like a PDF of the materials that we just went over.
Well, if you're taught, yeah, I think you guys are going to be sending this webinar out to all the attendees.
Yeah, so from an IAMS perspective, we have recorded or will be recording this webinar. I can make that recording available to those that are interested. Also, we'll have additional materials that I can send out to you as far as product information goes. Okay, next question, John. How would the plan help if the prospects already have a paid funeral plan?
So that would be where you would go on to that next question. If they had any assets that they wanted the chance to protect, that they wanted to make sure went to a specific church, charity, child, or grandchild. And the reason I say that is, if you put it into the estate planning trust, I have a couple really good clients of mine that were through the 5-year period now, and they've got a couple $100,000 in there, and they know that if they both get sick, go into a nursing home, one gets sick, that money is never going to be touched, and that is going exactly where they want it to go.
So in a nutshell, even though you may have a funeral plan, you still can protect additional monies if
With the estate planning trust,
Yep.
absolutely.
All right. Okay. Okay. Are the funeral and estate trust products available in California, and the limits of single and what are the limits of single premium?
Okay, so that, because can't remember all that, I would have to go back and look for you. Let's take a look here. California, $15,000 into the estate planning trust, and then obviously 85 you could do into, I'm sorry, 15,000 into the irrevocable funeral trust, and then obviously you could also do 85,000 into the estate planning trust. The answer to that is yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is a question I have never seen before, and I've seen quite a few. Will this cause an individual to be disqualified from current FEMA COVID-19 disaster relief retirement? Or excuse
Oh,
me,
I'm
reimbursement? Prepaid funeral expense plans, they put in parentheses here, um, are not eligible for reimbursement.
well, so I don't want to, I'm not positive on the question, but let me tell you a personal experience on that. So maybe this is the answer, maybe it's not, but it sounds like what they're getting at. And I don't know, but any money that was paid, so my mom is in care right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so any money that was paid by the government for um, stimulus, or that's not the word I'm looking for, but the payments they sent out,
Right.
right? People got 1,400, 600, whatever that was. That
Mm-hmm.
money is not counted against my mom. So that money she got to keep.
Okay.
So she's gotten this checks. I don't know if that answers the question, but I don't think they're going to be related, the
Okay.
funeral trust versus the stimulus.
Okay. All right. And I think that was it as far as the questions.
Awesome.
If you guys have any other additional questions, you can reach out to anyone in the sales department. We do have 3 life sales directors. We have myself, as you see here. My email address is tony@imsinc.com. We also have Justin Ford, who's in our Topeka office. His email is justin@imsinc.com. And then we also have Jess Riley, who is also in the Topeka office, and his email is Jess with an E. It's not Jesse, but it's Jess at imsinc.com. Also, for content like this and other content that we do have available, you can either follow us or like us on Facebook and LinkedIn, as you see here. And I think we don't have any additional questions. So with that, John, I'm going to thank you for taking the time out on a busy Monday, especially with the holiday weekend coming up. I'm sure there's plenty for you to do this week. Thank you again for taking the time to do this webinar with us. And for those of you advisors that did attend, I want to thank you guys for attending. Definitely we'll get that additional information out to those of you that have requested additional information. And John, do you have any final words?
I don't. I just want to say thank you for having me today, Tony, and thanks everybody for taking your time out. I think you made a wise choice to use an hour of your time today, and hopefully that was helpful. Anything else you need, just reach out directly to IAMS and Tony, and they'll take care of you.
As always, appreciate the time that all of our advisors take out to attend our webinars, as well as some of our top advisors helping out with the webinar. So I wish you guys a great Monday and a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.